The following episode of the Maui Chamber of Commerce's Business Matters was originally broadcast on April 26, 2022.
Aloha and welcome, Maui, to the Maui Chamber of Commerce's Business Matters radio show, sponsored by Mokulele Airlines. I'm your host, Pamela Timpot, president of the Maui Chamber of Commerce, and today we're going to discuss the State Small Business Awards by the SBA, and it's going to be a fun event coming up. We're going to speak with representatives from the Maui Visitors and Conventions Bureau and get updates on the Destination Management Action Plan, as well as learn about Voluntourism, and meet the owner of Gammie Homecare. But first, I would like to introduce you to a very dynamic lady, Valerie Kubota. Valerie is the Outreach and Marketing Specialist for the Hawaii Pacific Islands District Office of the U.S. Small Business Administration, and she is a dynamo who is making things happen. You know, we've all been through the pandemic, despite all the challenges. She is one of the key members of the SBA team, making things happen and pulling things off with short deadlines and changing conditions. So good morning, Valerie. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Pam, and mahalo for that kind introduction. How are you this morning?
I'm excellent. It's a little rainy here. How is it over on Oahu?
Yeah, a little rainy too, but I see the sun trying to peek through the clouds, so it's going to be another beautiful day, I'm sure.
It is, and of course for us, the rain's always a blessing, so...
It is, I agree.
Well, I'm so excited to get to have the opportunity to work with you, but a lot of people maybe are not familiar with what is occurring, not just here in Hawaii, but across the nation with National Small Business Week fast approaching. Can you tell everybody about the significance of this nationally recognized week and sort of what occurs at the national and state level leading up to the big celebration?
Yes, Pam, wonderful. I'd be happy to. So like you said, this is a very big deal, for the U.S. Small Business Administration because, actually for over 60 years, we've been having and highlighting National Small Business Week during the first week in May. So what happens is on the national level, there is, because of COVID, a virtual week of celebration, webinars, booths, and normally it would be done in person, but again, due to the pandemic, it is virtual again this year. So again, it is beginning May 1st through the 7th. And like you said, it is a National Small Business Week. This year's theme is Building a Better America Through Entrepreneurship. There's a lot of things going on nationally, but there's a lot of things going on locally as well.
It is very exciting. And how would people find out about all those webinars being offered?
So anyone can register online, and everything is for free. So they can go ahead and register at the www.sba.gov/NSBW, which stands for the National Small Business Week. So again, it's a summit of workshops, webinars. The SBA is also partnering with SCORE, which is our core of retired executives. So they have some really great lineups. So people can go online and see what each day will have.
That's so exciting, and it's great to know that everything's free. And whether you're in business now or are thinking about maybe, if you're an entrepreneur and thinking about maybe getting into business, these would be great workshops. When the National Small Business Administration and the regional district offices put programs out, you can count on them being excellent programs that are really helpful in your business or give you new ways of thinking about things, but they're meant to take you forward. And so really encourage everybody to go to that website, www.sba.gov NSBW, which stands for National Small Business Week. That is so cool. Well, great to know, and great to know that while normally the celebration's in person, it's still happening, even though we're still, going through COVID and coming out, which we're really excited about locally to be getting back to in-person events, which we're going to talk a little bit about. But before we talk about this upcoming in-person event, why don't you tell us about the different companies this year that won? I know it's public information now. We've shared you've been sharing who the winners are. Let's talk about who the winners are this year, what county they're from, and what categories they won in.
Yes, I'd love to, Pam. And this is, what all this work leading up to this next coming weeks is all about. And, just thank you to the Maui Chamber for your support, because if it wasn't for you and our other co-sponsorship partner, which is the Patsy Teaming Center for Business and Leadership, Women's Business Center in the YWCA of Oahu, you two have been tremendous co-sponsors, and without you, we wouldn't be able to even have this event. But, just taking a few months look back, you had us on your show. I think it was either end of November, early December, and we spoke about the nominations being open. And, thanks to your show, we got many, many, many great nominations, and many from the great island of Maui. And we're so excited and pleased to, announce that the top honor, the Small Business Person of the Year, is from a awesome business on Maui, Trust Systems Hawai'i. And the president there, Scott Loomer, is just so very excited about the upcoming events and, what's going to be happening. We spoke about National Small Business Week, and what's going to happen is on May 5th, Scott will be in a virtual ceremony with the other 50 winners across the nation, Puerto Rico, and the District of Columbia. And at that time, they're going to announce the National Small Business Person of the Year. And I'm sure all you people in Maui remember, back in 2017, Garrett Morero of Maui Brewing Company won that prestigious, he was, crowned the National Small Business Person of the Year.
Which was so exciting for all of us.
Yes, very exciting. And, that's a great, nomination. And, we're crossing our fingers that, Maui can produce another national winner. But like you mentioned, Pam, there are many winners from across the state. And we're so happy that there's representation from all of the counties. So we have, again, I mentioned Maui. We have Kauai, we have the small family-owned business Kauai County winner, which is M. Tanaka Hardware. It's amazing and hard to believe, but they're a 100-year-plus business over there on Kauai. So we're happy to celebrate them, as well as winners on the Hawaii County. We have people like the Kona Crust Pizza, and they're a young entrepreneur of the year. They, under 35 years of age, they've been, working really hard, starting with one location. They now have 4. So it's just amazing, these winners, all of the nominations. So inspiring to hear what everyone's doing on all of the islands. We also have someone in Hilo, and we also have, like I mentioned, Maui, several in Maui, some on Honolulu County. But, just to go over the winners real quick, because we want to make sure we mention everyone. So other small business people of the year, persons of the year, we have Aaron Uehara of Chakalea in Honolulu County. We have on Maui, Kihei Rent-A-Car, Lynn Nalani Solu. Again, we have in Hawaii County, Gypsy Gelato, Timothy and Sandra Heaton. We also celebrate women, Tam, because we know there's a lot of great women-owned businesses.
Absolutely.
And none other than the Maui Cookie Lady. And we thank you for that great nomination.
My pleasure.
Yes, she's the Maui County winner, and we're just so excited to have her. She's been, mentioned around the country and around, the world. So that's really exciting. We have Veteran-Owned Business of the Year, which is Hideo Simon of Square Barrels. I mentioned the Family-Owned Business of the Year. The state winner is actually from Maui, which is Commercial Tire Source, Ronald Anthony Rodriguez. So they, he took over the business from his dad and, taking it to another level. So that's really exciting. I mentioned women in business. We also have a women in business champion. And, these are women that, go over and beyond to help support women businesses, women business owners, and, just help them create communities. Our state winner is Susan Utsugi of Central Pacific Bank. We also have another winner in Kauai, which is Lei Kauai, Brianna Greer. She's doing some amazing things for the people out there, the women out there in Kauai. And on the Big Island, we have Aisha Shapiro of Ladies Artisan Market. So again, we have so many people doing great things. Other women-owned businesses. We have Istanbul Restaurant here in Honolulu. If anybody's ever in Honolulu, you gotta try it. It's great cuisine, and she does a really great job there. Started out as a pop-up in farmers markets, and now has a very successful brick and mortar there in Kaka'ako. And also in Honolulu County, Women-Owned Business of the Year, we have Marie Kumabe of Kumabe HR. And, she does a fantastic job. She has a really great team over there supporting her. So, again, I think I mentioned everybody, not in a particular order, but, just to let everyone know, how diverse, our state is and how many successful businesses we have out there.
And it's really exciting to share with people the different categories, too, that, you're recognizing advocates that work in certain areas, like supporting women-owned businesses. You've talked about the recognizing veteran-owned businesses, family-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, and, of course, the small businesses of the year, both people who've won at the county level as well as at the, being honored at the state level, which then takes them on to national. The breadth of this program is really deep, and that's what really excites me about the program is, and I know every year the categories can change a little bit based on national priorities, so sometimes the categories shift just a little bit, but the core categories always stay the same. And we have so many outstanding small businesses throughout Hawaii. And I just want to say, folks, that while we're getting ready to honor these amazing businesses this year, don't forget next year. The applications usually come out in the first quarter, and you've got a couple of months to get these applications in. But be thinking about businesses to celebrate. We all have friends who are doing outstanding things, family members who are doing outstanding things. We have, alliances, our vendors who are doing outstanding things, people in the community who are giving back in a huge way, looking at the businesses in that way. This is a great way to honor a small business. And I always laugh because when you get an SBA award, and I've been very fortunate to have won 2 in my career, I always say you need a bunch of wall space because so people, for the winners, plan ahead because you're going to need some wall space because you get recognized at different levels, and it's really nice to see the levels of recognition. And this is a time when you want to celebrate, especially these businesses who worked so hard through COVID to maintain their operations and do outstanding things. And Valerie, thank you for mentioning we're so honored to be one of your co-sponsors for this event and to be a part of it because the SBA and you and Hazel and Mary and Mark Spain, the director, and everybody on your team is doing such an awesome job. Let's talk about the big event to honor all of these folks in Honolulu on May 6th. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, we're so excited, gearing up. We're less than 2 weeks away. But we are going to be celebrating all of these winners, and it's so exciting that all of the winners will be present. We know it is challenging for some of the neighbor island people to come over, but, we're so happy that they're going to be making the trip over. Like you said, Pam, they're all so excited. They all worked very hard for, to earn these awards. And one of the things you mentioned, Pam, is, giving back to the community.
Yes.
And that's, a really big piece as well. All of the businesses I mentioned, they all give back. They give back, monetarily. They give back, in time, in mentoring, in building up other small businesses. So it's, a community. Like you mentioned, earning, a couple awards in the past. And, I think it just becomes, kind of like a little cohort or a little, their own little network there because they all shared, the award in the same year. But, yeah, definitely we're so excited that the Neighbor Island people will be making the trip. We'll be celebrating them at the YWCA of Oahu on Richard Street, and we're going to be doing that from 5 to 7 p.m. And, like you mentioned, in the past, winning awards was a really big shindig, and, at the Hilton Hawaiian Village, with 300 or more people. This year, because of COVID, when we were making the plans, we weren't even sure if we were going to have an in-person event. So,
right.
We kind of scaled it back a little bit, but, still we're planning a fabulous event, and this is one of the first in-person, recognition events, since COVID. So everybody's just so happy to get out and celebrate all of the winners. And without the nominators, we wouldn't even have the winners, right? So we also want to thank all the nominators, like I mentioned, you, Pam. We also have nominations from our Veterans Business Outreach Center of the Pacific, our Small Business Development Centers on all of the islands. We had nominations from Central Pacific Bank, from Hawaii National Bank, and, just, letting them have the opportunity to recognize the clients, the customers, the people they work with in the community. Because, as you mentioned, the applications and the call for nominations comes out, like the end of the year, beginning of first quarter. But, throughout the year, you are all working with such amazing people. So there's something, to think about as we work with people going forward.
Absolutely. And in the past, the banking community, and still in this event, but, in the past, a lot of the bankers, all of the major branches and banks got involved and were nominating clients that they worked with because they know the ins and outs. This is a little different of an award than, say, our local community Mayor Small Business Awards, because they're really looking at the growth of the business over time, the programs they've engaged in and been involved in, how they've worked with the SBA. So it's a slightly different nomination, and you do provide some financial information, which is confidential through the program. But It is a great award, and really, when you win one of these awards, they've really done their due diligence and homework on the businesses, and it's really exciting. And that's why some of the bankers are great nominators, because they know some of these, they know the data. They've been working with these businesses very closely, as well as you mentioned, like the Small Business Development Center and the Veterans Business Center. I'm trying to think what the O stands for. What does the O stand for VBA?
Veterans Business Outreach.
Outreach. Thank you. So again, these are people who are close to working with these businesses, and they know them. And it doesn't mean, again, that you have to be integrally involved in knowing their business to do the nominations. But, when you know an outstanding business, it really is a great program, and we want to see more of the banks and the credit unions get involved this coming year as we look forward to next year and the 2023 event. But I just want to tell everybody, you can come out and support these outstanding small businesses. If you're coming from Maui, you could do a quick staycation on Oahu, but there's still time because it goes 5 to 7. There's still time to come to the event on Honolulu and get home. And, if you're a business that does business with small businesses, or you want to learn more about or make connections with businesses across the state, this is an ideal opportunity to attend the event. And it's an opportunity where you can also buy a table, bring your sales and marketing team, get your business involved in making connections at this level with the amazing folks who are attending this event. We still have a limited number of tickets available and a limited number of tables available. So contact the Maui Chamber of Commerce today. We are selling the tickets as part of our co-partnership with the SBA on this event. You can call 244-0081, and we will get you the link so that you can get your tickets and learn more about how you can benefit from attending this great program. But don't delay, because it's coming up quick. So, Valerie, thank you for doing such an awesome job this morning, participating on the show and giving us all this great information. I can tell you I am over the moon about coming and spending the time with all of these amazing winners and learning more about their businesses and getting to know them.
Yes, and we're so excited to have you come over to Oahu. All of the times we've been over there on Maui, you've taken us, shown us some really great businesses. So, again, we've been just so blessed to work with you through this whole process. I know it hasn't been easy, so, big mahalos to you and Amber. Amber's so awesome. She's always, so responsive and quick to help us at any, stage of this whole process. But we just thank you for the opportunity today, and as always, to support small business, to also help, spread the word, because, we all know that small business is the backbone of our community, our state, and the nation. So we just thank you for your support, Pam.
Oh, thank you. And thank you to you and the SBA and your entire team for all you do. I know, like you said, there's things that have been, especially coming out of COVID times, some interesting hiccups, but you are always with a happy heart and just a great attitude, always just finding solutions and moving forward, which is fantastic.
Well, which is what all these small businesses do. And like I said, just work with them the past couple of weeks, after the announcement has been made, how excited they are, because they've worked through more than hiccups.
That's right.
They've been tirelessly, just plugging away, and we're so grateful. We're so grateful, again, for the people who nominated them, for everyone's hard work to make this happen. So we look forward to seeing everyone on May 6th.
Awesome. Well, again, call the chamber, 808-244-0081. Tickets and tables are available, but they're both limited, so call today. Thank you so much, Val. You have a beautiful day.
You do too. Aloha.
Aloha. We'll be right back after a brief message from Mokulele Airlines. Mokulele Airlines operates the largest commuter airline hub in the country, right here in Kahului. Fly Mokulele from Kahului to Molokai, Lanai, Hana, Waimea, Kona, and now Hilo. Mokulele also operates the only flights between Kapalua and Honolulu. There is never a middle seat on Mokulele, and every seat has a window and aisle. visit mokuleleairlines.com and take your next flight from the newly renovated Mokulele Terminal. And we're back. If you're just tuning in, this is Business Matters, brought to you by the Maui Chamber of Commerce. This morning, I'd also like to welcome Leanne Pletcher and Meagan DeGaia of the Maui Visitors and Conventions Bureau. Meagan DeGaia is the Destination Manager for the Maui Visitors and Conventions Bureau in a newly created position funded by the Hawai'i Tourism Authority. Meagan is originally from Northern Virginia, where she studied conservation and women's studies at George Mason University. She first came to Hawaii 18 years ago to volunteer on organic farms. Over the years, she has worked as a grant manager, a marine naturalist, an environmental educator, a youth service provider, and a community magazine publisher. Leanne Pletcher is the Director of Public Relations and Marketing for the Maui Visitors and Conventions Bureau. She is an 18-year veteran of Hawaii's tourism industry and has more than 30 years of experience in communications and marketing. Before joining MVCB, I'll just say that because it's shorter than saying the whole title again, Leanne most recently served as Director of Marketing Communications at Hilton Waikoloa Village for 14 years. Leanne graduated with honors from the University of Notre Dame, where she earned a master's in business administration with a concentration in marketing. She also holds a bachelor's degree in marketing from the University of Massachusetts. Good morning, ladies. We're so glad to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
It's our pleasure. Well, you folks have both been engaged, and Meagan, I know you've been leading the effort on the Destination Management Action Plan, which aims to rebuild, redefine, and reset the direction of tourism over a 3-year period. It was approved by HTA in December 20th and has been released to the public in March of 2021. Can you give us an update of where we're at now with the Maui Destination Management Action Plan?
Absolutely. So we just recently concluded Phase 1 of the DMAP, or the Destination Management Action Plan. And so Phase 1 has involved a lot of relationship building and information gathering and foundational work. And as we've wrapped up Phase 1, we've been arriving at some outcomes and able to now move forward with some real action that we can see, on the ground. So at the end of 2021, we held 2 community meetings. One was on Maui and one was on Lanai. Again, this was to report out on some of the things that we were doing and to gather more information and feedback from the community. We've also convened a Lanai advisory group, which is comprised of 16 residents from the island of Lanai, and they have been instrumental in creating a community-driven brand for their island, for Lanai and Lanai City, all to promote spending, to support the local economy and the city and the surrounding area there. We've also convened a Molokai task force, which is comprised of about the same number of members as the Lanai advisory group. And they are taking on an even more active role in implementing the actions in their DMAP. And so one of the main focuses of the subcommittees of this task force will be creating messaging to educate visitors after they arrive about how to behave responsibly when they're there on the island.
Excellent.
We're also putting together a Malama Lanai Restoration Day, which kicks off on May 7th of this year, and this will be a quarterly volunteer opportunity where visitors, whether those be Kama'aina here on Maui or, from the U.S. mainland or international, can hop on Sail Trilogy and head over to Lanai and get involved in some ecological restoration work, get to experience Lanai City, enjoy pu'upehe and hula poe, and support the local economy on the island, and really learn about the culture and the history and the ecology on their island.
That is beautiful. What a great experience. And tell us a little bit more about what's going on with the Maui group, and what are some of the accomplishments that you're doing here on island?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So one of the things that we're working on here is based on a B1 of Maui Nui's DMAP, which involves educating visitors about mineral-only sunscreen. We're going to be installing a total of 24 mineral-only sunscreen dispensers. So these will be reef-safe, free for public use. So this will be a free amenity that'll be available to visitors and residents alike on several popular beaches around Maui, including one over at Hulapo'e on the island of Lanai. And so this will help to support the ordinance that's going into effect that, was passed unanimously by the county council. It'll go into effect on October 1st, which outlaws all chemical sunscreens. So this is something that'll help to protect our reef. The reef will be able to recolonize. It'll be great for reef fish and also good for human health. And it'll be something that we can all enjoy, whether you're a Molihini, whether you're a visitor, whether you're a resident.
And I know you've
And this is something that's been... Oh, sorry. I just wanted to say this is a collaborative with the county, with about 10 ocean-minded nonprofits who are all just fantastic in their willingness to come to the table and be willing to monitor these sensors on a weekly basis. So we're so thankful for these partnerships.
You have been building a lot of great partnerships, and I know there's been a lot of great messaging going out. Ladies, tell me a little bit about the Malama Hawaii program for Maui Nui.
Sure. So the Malama Hawaii program serves as a bridge between the visitor industry and our local nonprofits. So in this program, visitors can visit this, anywhere in Hawaii, not just Maui. They can take advantage of this statewide program, and they can get connected with a nonprofit organization and volunteer, dive into one of their weekly or monthly volunteer opportunities. They just need to attend one, and then they can redeem an incentive at one of the hotels. So we have about 110 partners statewide in this program, and they could get a free night stay or redeem some other incentive when they volunteer and get connected with the local community here. So we love this program because it's the opportunity for visitors to get converted into volunteers and then really transformed into stewards of the land. And this is a perfect opportunity whether you're a first-time visitor and you're interested in having a deeper connection, or for those visitors that have been here multiple times, as so many of our visitors, do come back over and over again, and they want to experience something new, and they want to have a deeper experience.
Yeah, go ahead.
Pamela, just to chime in on that too, is that it gives them a chance to meet some of the local community and really the people that we've done a lot of promotional, filming around it and whatnot. So Meagan and I have gotten to experience a lot of these Malama programs firsthand, and we find that the volunteers that are there, they've really said that the experiences that they have are just so much more meaningful and memorable than other things that they've done while they're on the island. So it's really very unique and something special for them to bring home. And as Meagan mentioned, maybe it inspires them to volunteer once they get home to their own communities. So it's a nice widespread effort. So we've had some great feedback in that regard.
I'm really glad that you said that as well, Leanne, because we've always said, generally, of course, there's been a blip over, last summer where we had sort of a different caliber of folks coming. But in general, historically, the people who come to Maui have a love for the islands. That's why so many return. And they just feel a connection here. And we've always kind of said, when they don't do things right, sometimes they get overexcited and they're just wanting to capture the moment, and they're not really thinking about where they're parking or how they are on the road or some of the behaviors. But if we show them how to do better, then they generally embrace that. And they want deeper connections. And so to know that through this amazing program, you folks are presenting them, working with these great partners. Obviously, the partners are really presenting them, but you're educating them on the things that they can have. They'll have that deeper connection. And that gives them when they come back again, or even if they never come back again, hopefully they'll also volunteer at home, but their memories of Hawaii will be so much more enriched with the deeper cultural understanding and the deeper connection, working hand in hand with other people to give back and do things here. And I just think that is such a wonderful program that you ladies are doing.
Thank you
so much. And we find that there's so many visitors too that all around the world that share Hawaii's value of Malama. So, there's people that already recognize and want to give back and come here with that heart.
Yes, I absolutely agree. And I think it's a wonderful way that people can really connect. The programs are so exciting that you've put together, and I don't hear about these kinds of experiences when I travel to other cities, and I haven't done a lot of travel over the last couple of years, but prior to that, I've been to many cities, and when I'm looking to book activities, I don't see or hear of things like this. So I think it's really phenomenal that you're doing this. And I know that part of this also is as you're encouraging visitors there's a lot of messaging going around as you're encouraging visitors to respect our land and sea, encouraging them to stay on the roads and stay on the trails, not go wandering off. Look at where they're sitting down to have picnic spots and sitting on the beach and leaving things cleaner than the way they found it, which was always a concept that I was brought up with, right? Leave everything better than you found it. Even if it's not your trash, it's nice to pick it up. And certainly, be aware of the instructional signs, be aware of the ocean, understand certain things. And I know you're putting out a lot of messaging about that and also tying it with protections for them, but also respect for the islands and our culture. And then combining that with some of the volunteer activities. Tell people about, some of this overlaps with what's happening with the Malama Hawaii program, but explain to people about the messaging that you're trying to convey and that connection with what's now called Voluntourism and what Voluntourism means and how does that also fit with positioning of what we're offering versus other locations?
Leanne, if you'd like to speak to messaging, I can share about Voluntourism.
Oh, sure. So the messaging, as you were saying, Pamela, really is the how to give back to the community, how to also engage with the community. It's about making that connection, which is certainly what the Destination Management Action Plan is all about. We're just trying to make sure that people understand the giving back to the land, the ocean, the wildlife, the forest, the fish pond, the community, just part of that whole circle that enriches everything and everyone. And another item, too, that big part of our messaging is the Malama Maui County Pledge, which really touches on all these touch points. And that's something that we've been communicating through. We have a video, we've got different social media posts and whatnot, but this message of it's really about the giving back and making that connection is what's woven into all of our programs, all of our promotions, and we want the mindful traveler to come to Hawaii. That's who we're really targeting to come, and for lack of a better term, just the Malama and giving back, and all these programs which Meagan can speak to just really touch on that. And there's so many different opportunities for our visitors, and also the locals are getting involved as well.
And I was just about to say, actually, the Malama Maui County Pledge is not just for visitors. Locals can accept that pledge as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's fantastic. And Meagan, tell us a little bit about Voluntourism.
Sure. So Voluntourism is a form of tourism that exists all over the world where, of course, travelers can volunteer during their vacation. Here on Maui, with Malama Hawaii, we connect them with nonprofit organizations, but there are agencies all over the world where they can be connected with schools, with organic farms worldwide, including here on Maui, all different types of organizations where they can give back. And so whether here in Hawaii or worldwide, that can be on an individual basis or with larger groups through corporate social responsibility. And there's usually some type of incentive involved. For example, a few years ago, I volunteered in Guatemala at a preschool for 2 weeks, and I stayed with a local family and received room and board. Or my first trip to Hawaii, for example, I was volunteering on organic farms for 4 months, and I was receiving room and board. So just like with the Malama Hawaii program, there's usually some type of incentive that's involved where the volunteer is getting something in return for the time and the love that they're putting into the place. And so what really sets Hawaii and Malama Hawaii apart from other destinations where a visitor would want to go volunteer is, we have such a unique culture here. The most powerful aspect of Hawaii is not just our incredible natural beauty or the rich culture. It's really the relationship between the two. And so the Malama Hawaii program is extraordinary because it opens the door to these unique cultural and ecological experiences. And people really hear and feel the call of that, and that's what brings them here.
Yes, I love that. I love that they're hearing and feeling the call of that. And, of course, when you get to immerse yourself in that, and we recently had the celebration of culture and the arts at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, that's one of those wonderful immersive experiences as well. And you're there, you're in it, and it's a just completely different energy. It just touches your soul.
Mm-hmm.
So
very well said.
Thank you. Yes. I love that. I love to know that we're delivering those kinds of experiences. And I love to know that we're talking about, and you folks are targeting and really in all areas, working to hear the residents' concerns and hear and work on what we really want to convey to attract those mindful visitors who care about all the things that we care about and will be culturally respectful and environmentally respectful and treating other people with a kind of respect and aloha spirit. And they're the kinds of people who want to embrace those things. So, ladies, thank you so much for giving us this update. I promise we won't make it such a long time between now and the next one because I know more things are coming up. So let's plan to connect more frequently. But I just want to say mahalo for all that you are doing. This is new work that you've been working on since the plan came out. But I just want to say, and I've said publicly in different forums, this is not just a plan sitting on the shelf. These ladies are taking action, moving it forward, and accomplishing great things. So thank you for all that you're doing to further these programs through the DMAP process, but also through your other work.
Well, we appreciate all your support too, Pamela, and everything that you do. So thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Well, bless you both, and I hope you have a gorgeous Maui day.
Thank you, Pamela.
Thank you. Aloha. For folks just tuning in, this is Business Matters, brought to you by the Maui Chamber of Commerce. And I am so pleased to welcome the owner of Gammie Homecare. That's Paul Gammie. Paul was born and raised on Maui and is a graduate of St. Anthony High School, one of those things we always want to know when you're born and raised here. Where'd you go to high school? He received a Bachelor of Science degree in Business and Finance from Colorado State University. He worked for the family business of Hawaiian rentals in the early 80s. That's something I didn't know about Paul. And did that for 8 years, a brief 8 years, before starting his own company. It was originally named Maui Medical Equipment, but is now named Gammie Homecare. Paul has 2 daughters, Dale and Jenna lives in Peru, and Dale manages Gammie Homecare here on Maui, and Paul still works full-time for the company, and now they have stores on 3 islands, Maui, Kauai, and Oahu, with 41 employees. Good morning, Paul. How are you today?
Hi, Pam. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. So good to have you on the show. And I had no idea that the business had grown that broadly. So tell us a little bit. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yep. Each day, step by step, it doesn't seem like things change much. But when you look back over time, I guess it's always like that, right?
Yes.
Things change. You do a little bit every day, and after a while, it's like a journey has happened.
Yeah, I mean, really amazing. It's kind of fun sometimes when we go back to do the bios and people go, my gosh, I forgot that's what my life looked like, in the progress.
Exactly.
So, first of all, let's talk a little bit about the inspiration to get you started in this, and then maybe tell us how you started then moving to expand to the 2 other islands.
It really was an economic decision. It's like history is repeating itself right now. I mean, I was working for the family business, which was Hawaiian Rentals. My mom ran that, owned it, and ran it. And it was back in the early 80s, and inflation was on us. I mean, it hasn't been like that until now again. The big difference was in the early 80s, there was high interest rates as well as high inflation. So the economy was really slow. I was trying to, at Business Hawaiian Rentals, we were trying to find new avenues of business. And I not really stumbled along it. It was always there, but I recognized the demographics of the aging of the population.
Yes.
We rented equipment. We provided products to the community, and I thought, oh, gosh, nobody's really doing wheelchairs. Nobody's really doing things for the aging population. And so we started slowly there and began to build that business up over time, and it was just an awareness of the future demographics which were going to come true. The aging of the population was a very real thing.
Yeah.
One thing led to another. After 4 or 5 years of developing it there, we actually ran into a huge problem with insurances because people who insured chainsaws for general rental agency didn't like the idea that we had wheelchairs also. Kind of a conflict of interest there. So a long story short, we were forced to break that part of the business away because of what was happening in the insurance world. And I started what was then Maui Medical Equipment.
Wow.
My wife was a nurse. I was a business major. We thought it would be a good fit. And it was tough to convince her that it might be a good idea to become an entrepreneur. But eventually she signed on, and we went off and started it. And then about 8 years after that, 6, 7, 8 years, we changed it to Gammie Homecare for a variety of reasons. But it's a name that's worked well, and it's grown ever since. We went to Kauai in 1999, and just recently an old friend of mine that ran a similar type business on Oahu was retiring, and we talked to her and ended up becoming operational on Oahu as of January 1st of this year. So we're now on 3 islands.
Congratulations. That's so exciting.
Be careful what you wish for.
There you go. Well, hopefully if you're wishing, you want it to come true. So, but you're right.
That's true.
and you might want to include the timing in that wish. There's one of those things, right? Sometimes we're so broad, and then the universe provides. Tell us about first of all, I think, wow, what a brilliant strategy and thought that came to you, and recognizing the aging population, which of course has just continued to grow. So tell us about all of the products and services you offer, because I also know that you meet a lot of medical needs, not just necessarily for what we would expect for that aging population. You serve really the entire population through your products and services.
We really do. It all started off on a fair narrow band of products and services, but it grew over the years. And as the demand presented itself, I've always tried to match the needs of our community with what is available. And Gammie Homecare is now what's called a general purpose durable medical equipment business. We have a wide variety of products. We have orthotics. We have oxygen services. We do a lot in the CPAP, sleep apnea world. The list just goes on. And it takes a while to train employees when they come to us because it's such a variety.
Yes.
And I like to kind of compare ourselves to the hardware store of the medical equipment world because there's a lot of different items that you have to learn about. And over time, it becomes second nature once you're in it and living it. But it's really quite a complicated business, and it has grown a lot over the times. We have multiple levels of professional services, respiratory therapists, specialty people that can provide very high-end power wheelchairs for, unfortunately, those folks that have had spinal cord injuries or such things.
Yes.
It's a very high level of service involvement and dedication to the community. So we really try and put ourselves out to wherever it's necessary. We can't be all things to all people, but we assist in a lot of hospital discharges. We get referrals from all kinds of different doctors here on all the islands that we're around on, and we try and match the provision to the need of what's out there. And I guess any good business, that's the purpose.
Absolutely, is meeting your customers' needs. And when you can't, helping them figure out how they can, which is really awesome.
Yeah, it's so true because, oftentimes people don't even know the right questions to ask about certain situations. I just recently had need of a plumber, and I couldn't quite describe what the problem was. I knew what the problem was, but I'm not a plumber. So, it's just like I didn't even have the right verbiage to really explain, and I had to have a professional come and help me. It's much the same in my world. People oftentimes come to us and they know they have a need, but they don't even know how to, express it. Excuse me.
Oh, it's quite all right.
So it's a matter of again, matching supply and demand.
Yeah. No, I think that it's really phenomenal what you've grown this into, and it's interesting for me because I didn't even know that you had sleep apnea equipment. So every time I talk to you, I get to learn. Not only have you expanded greatly since I've last seen you, but also to know that you're really doing so many amazing things in such a broad area, and then pairing with experts who can help advise and working with some of the respiratory therapists and others and the doctors that are referring people. And it's an ever-changing world, just like you mentioned the hardware store. I mean, products are constantly changing, so it's a lot of new things to keep up with as well.
It really is. And, the type of product and services that we carry, it's not something that people go out of their way to find. It's like, oh, gosh, let's go find the latest, greatest in a walker.
Right.
You find these things when you need these things. And so you don't hear too much about it in the normal course of events. But boy, when you need one of these tools, I love to refer to our stuff, our equipment as tools,
yes.
The tools of life. You really need it, and
yes.
It really can make a huge difference. And so we just kind of quietly, work in the background to just fill those holes that our community needs. And it's been an adventure. But I feel very fortunate that we have a niche that we can stay here in Maui. I have, between the various islands, we have 45 or so employees. And I really feel that on each of the islands we contribute to a necessary part of what the community needs. And over time, the community gives back. There's so much that you put out. When you don't expect to have a reward, you do it because it's necessary.
That's
the
right.
community gives back, and it's the karma of the whole thing. The circle of life does go on.
Yep, and that's the aloha spirit, to give without any
Yep.
expectation of reciprocity. I can't even speak today this morning. Reciprocity, I can't even say it. Everybody knows what I mean. Reciprocity, that's what I'm trying to say. Thank you. Gary's laughing at me here in studio. Well, Paul, we've got about 30 seconds or maybe a little bit more. Tell everybody where they can find Gammie Homecare here on Maui.
We're at 292 Alumni, right in the middle of the Kahului industrial area. We're open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. We still close for lunchtime, 12 to 1. We decontaminate our entire front office area. We're still very COVID aware. We'll see how much longer that goes on for. But it's, we're very in tune with the fact that that COVID thing is still bothering everyone. It's around. So we're there Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, closed from 12 to 1.
Awesome. Well, Paul, thank you so much. Everybody, Gammie Homecare is a reference that you need to know. So keep that in your mind, because we all know people who are aging in our lives. So keep that ahead of your plans and think of them often. That's all we have for Business Matters today, brought to you by Mokulele Airlines and the Maui Chamber of Commerce. I'm the president of the Maui Chamber of Commerce, Pamela Tumpop, wishing you blessings and best wishes for a beautiful Maui day.